Hi. So I'm just recording this with my webcam. Not good lighting. There's no lights on. All the light right now is natural lighting. Okay, so I wanted to tell a story. This angle. I can't do it this angle. Okay. Should I tell you a story just with my eyes? So I'm just relaxing right now. And I don't feel like moving, so I'm just gonna talk. Maybe if I'm like this, it'll be a little bit less awkward for me. So I want to tell a story that happened to me. So it all started back in 2009, I think. So 2009, I met this guy. I'm not going to give him a name because I don't want to say his real name, and calling him by a fake name would be super weird for me. So I met a guy in a chat room online, and so we started talking, and we would talk all the time, and then we started talking on the phone, and so we started talking, and the first time we talked on the phone, we talked for 8 hours straight. We had really good, we got along great, and we had a lot in common, and he was really easy to talk to. He was interesting. He was a great storyteller. And then he had a lot of issues. He had been a heroin addict. He was on methadone. Just a lot of things going on in his life. He was a recovering alcoholic when we started talking. And obviously, if you're a recovering addict, that's something that you deal with the rest of your life. He did start drinking again at one point while we were talking, and so my nephew was born on his birthday when we were talking, and there was just a lot of weird coincidences with us, it's a small world kind of thing that were going on. And so just for background. And we were talking and getting along great, and he had some health issues while we were talking. He started throwing up blood, and he was always sick and always tired, and he thought he had cirrhosis or something, from drinking and doing so much drugs. But I didn't. He told so many stories, it was hard to tell when he was telling the truth and when he was lying. I mean, later on I found out that he had a perforated ulcer, which I didn't know about. He didn't know about. We just found out about it later on. So yeah, he was sick. He was legitimately sick. And he went to a party or something. He went to hang out with some friends. And he had this girl text me from his phone. Or I don't know if it was from his phone or from her phone or whatever. But this girl texted me and was like, "Oh, don't talk to my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend. Stay away from him." So I got really upset. And then I went to my friend's house to hang out and just do what girls do and get upset because boys are stupid. So I was at her house, and she was into a lot of paranormal stuff and whatnot, Ouija boards, tarot cards, all that fun stuff. So she also she had a lot of cool stuff. She had a legit spirit board that she refused to use in a glass case. because she said that it was safer to use like the game board type Ouija board, like the trademarked Ouija board, because like it was safer because it was a game, but like that like legitimate spirit boards were more dangerous in her opinion. So we were using the Ouija board, the Hasbro type, I think it's Hasbro. The game board type Ouija board, the like legit Ouija board, not like a spirit board. And we weren't having much luck. It wasn't very clear. Like it was moving around, but we weren't really getting any answers to anything. And she believed that like her dad would talk to her through the Ouija board, but that she could talk to her dad more clearly on the Ouija board with her mother, like if they were both using it. So I know a lot of people say that Ouija boards are kind of like BS, like, you know, you're just moving it without realizing it and all this stuff. But I think that there are beings that will move your hands around. Like, Ouija boards are a legit thing, and it's scary. So we were using the Ouija board, just the two of us, just kind of whatever, like nothing really interesting happened. And then her mom came home from work, and she asked her if she would do it with us, and she said yes. And obviously I was in an emotionally heightened state, which apparently you're not supposed to use the Ouija board in that sort of circumstance, which I didn't know at the time, but I know now. Oops. So I was really upset still about this guy, and so we started using the Ouija board with her mother, and I wasn't really expecting much. Like, I can't say for sure, like, that it was her dad. I don't know, like, because it could be any being. Like, they could lie. Like, you can't trust any of that stuff, but we were using the Ouija board with her mother, and she asked to talk to her father. Like, they asked to talk to her father, and well, first we asked like if we could talk to my brother who had passed. Maybe I'll tell that story another time if people are interested. But first we asked if we could talk to my brother who passed, but that, like, it was just like no response kind of a thing. Which doesn't surprise me, because I think I was already so freaked out from using Ouija board that I don't think that like anything was going to come of it. But like legitimately, like, just nothing happened. And then when they asked for her father, that's when we started getting responses. And we asked specifically that we told the being that we were going to ask questions about this specific person. And she asked, like, if they would be able to gather intel, basically, on him. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to give you some time to gather whatever information you can. And so we waited a couple of minutes and then started talking again and asking questions. And I do not remember everything that I asked. Like, there's just a few key points that stick out in my mind. For example, it was kind of a long conversation, but at the same time it was like a really short conversation. So like we asked like if it was really his girlfriend, and it said no. I asked if he was going to end up back in the mental hospital, because he had been in the he told me he was in the mental hospital a few months earlier, but he's told stories, so I never knew what was true or not. And I asked if he was going to end up back in the mental hospital, and it said no. And then I asked if he was going to end up in the real hospital, and it said yes, which he did. He ended up for the perforated ulcer. And I asked the Ouija board if I was going to get married, and it said yes. I have not gotten married yet, so I can't vouch for that one. But I asked the Ouija board if he was going to get married, and it said no. And that, like, broke my heart so bad, because, like, at the time I had these deep feelings for this guy, and, like, I wanted him to be happy, and I thought, and I knew that that was something he wanted. So I was like, no way, like, he'll get married. He's got to. But he didn't. He's gone, and he never got married. He never had that chance. And, like, another weird thing that happened, like, with the Ouija board was I asked a question about this other friend of mine, and we just didn't get a response at all. And I was like, oh, yeah, because we didn't ask about that. Like, there was just no movement at all. Like, it didn't go anywhere. And I just thought that was funny, because, like, asking the questions about the one guy, like, got such a clear response. And then when we asked a question about this other person, just nothing happened at all. There was no movement whatsoever. And I'm like, whoa. And I think that was pretty much the gist of it. Like, I don't remember much else that happened during that conversation. I just, like, the key points are there. Like, we used the Ouija board, the two of us, nothing happened. We used Ouija board with her mother. Like, we started getting responses. We asked for specific answers about this person, and we got answers when asking questions about them, but when we asked questions about somebody else, just nothing happened. And then, he kind of just faded out of my life. Like, I think he just wanted to protect me from his habits. But, like there was always, like, a part of me that was hurt by it. Like, I still have his phone number memorized, and it's been 9 years since we were close. Like, we would talk, like, every once in a while throughout the years, but not much. So yeah, so the last time I talked to him was on my birthday last year, 2017. And the day after my birthday this year, my sister called me, and she's like, did you hear blank died? And I'm like, what? Who? Like, because his name is very common, and I know quite a few people with his same name, and I'm like, which one? Like, and she's like, she told me that it was him, and I'm like, what? Like, it just blew my mind, because, like, she's like, yeah, I found out yesterday, but we didn't want to tell you because we didn't want to ruin your birthday. And he had actually died 4 days before they told me. I guess he died on Sunday, and then they told me on Friday. And Thursday was my birthday. So I'm like, what happened? She's like, yeah, I guess, like, complications from a car accident or something. I was like, what? And, like, I was so angry at him for dying, just because I think I had, like, a certain amount of comfort knowing that he was somewhere in the world, and now he might be somewhere in the world, but I don't know. He died on Father's Day, and I was born on Father's Day, and so it, like, made me angry. Like, I kind of felt like he tainted my birthday for me a little bit, but, like, it was just such a weird coincidence. Like, there were so many weird coincidences in our life, and I hope, like, things are better now. He suffered so badly with depression and his addictions and everything, and hopefully he has some sort of a relief from that, like, that there's something beyond this life. I think most people who use the Ouija board do, because it's not like, why would you use a Ouija board if you think there's nothing else? There's nobody like a higher power. It's just you moving it. Like, what would be the point of using a Ouija board? So, yeah, I just hope for the best for him, and I hope he's happy and has some sort of a relief. And I mean, I'm sad that he's not in this world anymore, but at the same time, if it was his time, then it was his time. So, I don't know. But yeah, if you have any interesting Ouija board stories or you want to hear other stories that I have, just let me know. I have quite a few. Some paranormal, not so many paranormal, but lots of interesting stories if you want to hear them. So just let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed the story. Feel free to subscribe if you want more. But thanks for watching. Bye.